So today's video is going to be kind of a review of the VEVOR milking machine, and we're going to show you how we put it together, and we've been using this for 3 weeks now. So kind of give you the good, bad, and the ugly, and we really wanted to do a how to put it together video because when we were first putting ours together, we sought out a video like this and could not find one. So we're going to do our best. The Chinese instructions that come with the machine are not great. So that is one of the cons, but that's what we find YouTube University pretty helpful. So we're going to walk you through that today. The reason we decided to get a VEVOR, there was a couple of reasons. The first was price point, to be completely honest. That was by far the cheapest, which we recognize is not always the best, but we had ordered a couple of things, maybe just one thing before we bought the milker, and had a good experience. It was decent quality. We actually had to call customer service, or
we
emailed customer service, and they were helpful and sent us some replacement parts. So, we looked at reviews, which there weren't that many, but everybody seemed to have a decent experience with the actual machine. So it really just came down to price point for us because we're first time milkers. This is our first milk cow. I'd say that VEVOR everything else was at least twice that amount, right?
Yeah, it was more than, there was some 2,000 and up.
Yeah, it was significantly less than anything else. So we figured that if we got started with this one, then we would have more information about, if we want to upgrade in the future. So far, again, we've been milking for about 3.5 weeks, and it's been terrific. The quality we know could probably be better. Some of the parts do feel a little bit brittle, but I think that they would be easily replaceable. We thought about ordering, I will say that we have a Jersey, and we were really scared that the cups were going to be too big, but they seem to be working.
Yeah, they do fall off
pretty good.
About the cold,
Yeah, in the bitter cold, which is not today, but I think the coldest morning we've milked so far has been like 8 or 9 degrees, and we've learned to put our cups in hot water so that they suck a little bit better to the teat, because our cow is a member of the itty bitty titty committee. So a little bit of problem there, but nothing that we haven't worked with. I was afraid we were going to have to order a size smaller and figure all that out, but I think we're going to be good with that. We have also thought about ordering clear tubing for your milk line. Some have that. I haven't found anything that actually works, but that's the reason that we only use 2, so that we can see the milk coming in and we know when each quarter's finished. But overall, we're happy with it. So we hope.
So they got all these numbers on here. They'll have a number 3 and the number 3 by, on a 9, 6, 1. And these hoses will have numbers on them to where they'll go on to the actual machine. It looks complicated, very complicated. It looks like an octopus with all these hoses on here whenever they all get on. This thing here is just what adjusts the pressure. And
so as Charlie's getting the bucket, we usually start there with putting everything together. It was on our drying rack. So we start with the bucket and put the lid on just because we know that it's clean. And while we're putting everything else together, just so nothing, hay particles or anything like that don't get in the way.
This does have a lip in here, and you have to make sure and keep this clean because they will milk get down in that lip. So when you're cleaning this rubber piece, I do not know what the names of these things are, but this thing here just slips on. This is your rubber gasket, and then this sits down onto the actual bucket. This sits down on the bucket, and I face it. You figure out how you want to do it with these three. Like I said, they'll have stickers on them, but I always put the Pulsator on my left. My milker comes out here. This is where the milk comes in, and then this one is the air for your compressor. So I'll just stick that on every single time the same, and I firmly push that down like that. So then that's on the bucket. Then you have this one, this hose here. I take it off regularly because it will get milk in it, and then it hooks down here to this spot down there, and this one did not have the sticker on it, and then it hooks up here to this, to that, and this one will get some milk in it, not much, just like the condensation milk. So I always clean this in every time we milk. So that's that, and then this your Pulsator, and I tried to figure out how to get that thing on. I felt like it was gonna fall off. You can unscrew this if it's pulsing too much or too less. There's a little bitty screw right here, see it? You can adjust that. I had to do that. I can't remember, do you remember how many pulses we had? It's like 1 per second or something.
Yeah, everything that we saw online, you want about 1 per second. So ours was set extremely fast when we got ours, so we had to slow it down. So
I take this and I just kind of put it on in a little snug with a little twist instead of trying to push real hard, because as everybody knows, these Chinese things, they'll break. So then we have the claw, what I call it the claw. This is this part, this black part, and I always screw this thing so we don't lose this washer. So there's a washer right there, and it goes down. So I always, when I'm cleaning the milk ports, and I just go ahead and put this on, but this here goes on it. There is a rubber gasket that goes on first. I ain't gonna explain that, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then this has a place where it will only go in one slot like this, and then they all fit. So then that's down, and that hooks onto this thing over here. So you want these that are, this is where your pulsator's going. So I want my milk hose with the Pulsator. So I'm gonna put this on like such. Let me show you, I'll get this on here. So that this is coming out with the lines. So all the lines are coming out the same way. I've had it backwards a couple times, and yeah, I just went ahead and finished milking. This thing, it's a little bit tricky. Get on, it seats on with that little rubber gasket, and then I just put my little black screw thing back on and tighten this down pretty good. This little thing here, this is junk in my opinion. When you have this upside down, you have these things on there, and this thing falls down, you lose suction and they'll fall off. So this thing has to stay up and locked for it to allow suction through this hose and through these ports. These are goes to each one of the milkers, which we only use 2, and I'll explain that. Your milker, and then you put, so we're going to have this in the air, so I'm going to put it closest to me, because here's my lines right here. I'm going to put this one closest to me, and you just slide that on there, and it definitely, I'm trying to be easy with it. And then this is your air one, and it goes onto that. And then this one the same way. The hoses came kinked from factory. I thought about calling them and see if they could get me some because it's aggravating. They have permanent kinks in them, so they will kink. You see, it's hard to see in this light, but anyhow, all of them have a kink in it from where they folded this stuff and shipped it. So that's 2. There should be 2 more right here, okay? The same thing, 2 more goes on here. But in right now, I ain't saying I won't put them on later, but when I get these on, if you don't do it all 4 at one time, they don't suck very well, so they'll fall off because you don't have a way to shut off each one individually without kinking all 3, put this on, and then unkinking one and then putting it on, before this one loses suction, and then holding the other 2 on and kinked. So it's easy to do this with 2 because I can put them on, and in about 5 minutes the cow's milked, take these off, put them on to the next one. It just makes it much easier to do that. So I came up with, I needed to plug these holes because I only wanted 2. So I made these. I just put some tape on the air hose, this air hose one. It's just a piece of tape, and I cleaned those, but that just slides right on to the other one where the milk thing, the milk pulsator hose would go for the ones I do not use. Then I made these, and this is the best thing for this one because I can put these on and that closes my milk off. Plus, my milk, the one here, this is where the milk comes in. This is where the milk comes down through the teat. Well, I can close these off very easily. So I can take and make this thing lose suction really fast. So I can just open one of these valves and these will fall off instead of having to fool with this thing that does not work good. This thing's aggravating. So I made this, and you can turn that, and then they come off really easy, and then you can, turn it back, then they start sucking again, you can put it right back on. So either one of these, very easy to clean. You can run the brushes through them, but it's easy to, that's probably very complicated, probably didn't make any sense. But if you have any questions, you can ask. And that goes on there just like this. This is your pulsator line. It's just 2. There's one that's got a blue thing. I haven't had, I've tried it both ways. I've tried it every which way, and I ain't seen a difference, really, that shows. I'm going to take this off so I don't break something. And I'm just going to put these on. I put it, that's the way I put it every time. Just like this with the blue to my left. And it seems to work just fine. Those just slide right on. Now I'll take this and just kind of give it a twist and push. And then this one goes on to the bottom of here. I'll do the same thing. And then the milk hose. I put that's in the front, goes on the front, the milk. This is where your milk goes in. This is the key one, I think, to keep extremely clean. I do take this thing apart every single time that we milk. A lot of people just put it in a bucket and they stick these things down in the bucket and suck up some Clorox or whatever their solution is. We take them apart completely because it's not that hard. So now you can see I've got these hoses. We're underneath the cow. These are closest to me, and I can see when the milk coming in here stops. I know that this one's closed, so I need a green thing. So then you can take them off, put one of these green things in, and then go back to the other teat and finish. Then go to your other side. But I can see where the milk comes down from here into here. You can see it spraying, and then it'll go to a trickle and then quit. So then you know that one's done. So you need to plug one and then put it back on the other one. That's how we put this thing together.
The machine itself is fairly easy to navigate in and out of where we milk. Just be careful that you don't slosh around too much because the bucket is not secured onto the frame. Hey y'all, I'm gonna put together the VEVOR milking machine this morning. Not gonna give you a whole bunch of explanation since Charlie did yesterday, but just how I do it. And another way that you can watch. So, milk pail goes on the little holder. My top goes on. I'm gonna grab the Pulsator. I always go with this short tube next. And it goes, the first little teat is on top, and then the second one is on the arm over here of the actual, like, of this part. I don't know what that's called. Okay. Then get this clear plastic piece. Put the little gasket on, I guess that's called. We're gonna try to order some replacement gaskets just because it'd be nice to have them on hand. So now that's on there. Now I grab the black piece. Take off that. Ooh. Goes on like that. I always make sure that that's really seated down good because I've done it before where I didn't mash it down real good and lose air. Let's get that nice and tight. I always flip it upside down how I'm gonna have it when we're milking. And so we always do the milk line toward us. Charlie made these awesome, what are these called?
That's just a water shut-off valve.
Yeah, a shut-off valve because I was having a lot, well, we were both having a lot of trouble getting, like if one teat gets done before the other. Now I can't get that off. So this is these things here he made for us so that it was a lot easier. And then we only use 2, like he said, so we plug up the back 2. And then last but most important, put on the teat cup. So milk line is the bigger of the 2. It goes on the bigger of the knobs, and then your air line, vacuum line, I guess, goes over here. And same over here. So now you got it like that. If you're using 4, obviously the other 2 would go here. And now we're gonna hook up our octopus lines. There on the pulsator, and then the other 2 go down here underneath your milk line on the claw. Last but not least, you can see that milk line on top of the lid, and then on the claw. So once everything's put together, got the machine out, just checking to make sure everything's plugged up and putting it on the cow. While I'm waiting for pressure to build, and you'll be able to hear it, I just gently hold those teat cups up on her teats so that they don't fall off. And you'll see on your gauge that when the pressure reaches in the green, she's good, and I can remove my hands. We truly do hope this is helpful, and we wish everyone good luck and Godspeed on your milking journey. Thanks.